$1.6 billion. Now that's an amount of money that most people can't even imagine.
But you know, that's the amount of money that CF Motor Freight generated in 1987.
That's more than $6 million every single working day that our customers paid CF to move their freight. Almost 50 million pounds of it every day. That's an amazing amount of money, isn't it? And a lot of freight. But let me tell you an even more amazing fact. Every employee, every truck, every terminal, every one of us at CF works the first 346 days of every year just to meet expenses. That's right. It takes us from January 1st until December 12th just to break even. Our profit, the money that we need for the expansion of facilities, buying new equipment, and developing new technologies, that money amounts to about 2 weeks of revenue out of each year. That sounds impossible, doesn't it? You know, it's hard to see the whole picture from any one place in our system. But I just spent a couple of days traveling with a schedule of freight that originated at a typical CF terminal, Bloomington, Illinois. What happens in Bloomington is happening in over 600 towns and cities all over the country every day. On the morning I arrived, all 4 Bloomington driver salesmen were already out of the terminal.
I caught up with Dean DeWerth just as he was making his last delivery at a chemical plant 22 miles north of the terminal in the town of El Paso.
With his trailer now empty, Dean leaves to make his first pickup at a heavy equipment manufacturer in Pontiac, Illinois. This shipment of 8 riding lawnmowers is loaded to travel directly to the consignee in Provo, Utah, through the Mountain States Consolidation Center in Salt Lake City. After securing the load of mowers, Dean picks up 1,200 pounds of agricultural chemicals destined for California, Texas, and New Jersey. A 35-pound shipment of games to be delivered to a wholesaler in Boston, and 4,600 pounds of printed forms from the warehouse of a large insurance company going to their regional distribution center in the Los Angeles area. Returning to the terminal, Dean drops his full trailer and leaves to spot an empty trailer for loading at Eureka Vacuum's warehouse. Linehaul Dispatch at the Peru Consolidation Center is informed that Bloomington will have 2 trailers ready for pickup.
158918 and a 152066.
2 other Bloomington driver salesmen have also picked up freight for the Mountain States area. Gary Dahlquist loaded 1,640 pounds of beer nuts, 600 pounds of which are going to Rock Springs, Wyoming, and 3,800 pounds of farm equipment accessories going to Ogden, Utah. Bill Erskine picked up 3 skids of printed material being shipped to a Logan, Utah warehouse, and 1,756 pounds of refrigerator liners going to 23 different locations, some of which are in the Mountain States area. In total, the 4 Bloomington City units delivered 22,000 pounds of freight and picked up 34,981 pounds in 34 shipments. The revenue on these shipments ranged from a high of $943 for the 8 mowers going to Provo to a low of $59 for a single 164-pound shipment of plastic refrigerator liners going to Ardmore, Oklahoma. On an average length of haul basis, this makes the freight picked up by the Bloomington terminal on this day worth $4,656 when delivered. All we have to do is get it there with some money left over. But we've already started spending that money. In fact, we started to spend it before we ever left the terminal to pick up the freight. For instance, there's sales expense, including not only salaries and fringe benefits, but also travel, auto, and entertainment.
Okay, Jack, I'll bring the diskettes with me, and I'll look forward to seeing you in about an hour. Bye-bye now.
It takes that effort to generate the amount of freight that moves in and out of our Bloomington terminal every day. To move that freight, we need equipment and terminals. We need phones to talk to our customers about their freight, computers to keep track of it. Then there's utilities, stationery, furniture, office supplies, and depreciation or rent and local taxes on the land and the buildings, and insurance. There's forklifts and hand trucks and, well, you get the picture. These city units cost about $40,000 each, and they've got to be maintained. Even if we take real good care of them, you got to buy new tires every so often. The fuel they use is costing more and more every single day. They've got to have new license plates. They've got to be insured. There are tolls to pay, and hundreds of other things that, well, just all add up. There's wages, fringe benefits, including health and welfare, pension contributions, and Social Security. So by the time the freight is headed to the Origin Consolidation Center, our outbound terminal expenses have already totaled $785. That leaves us $3,871 to get us to our destination with a profit. At the Peru Consolidation Center, the swing shift includes 27 dockmen. By the time the last trailer from Bloomington arrives, they've already unloaded 22 trailers from the Aurora, Peoria, Rockford, Rock Island, and Decatur terminals. Before their shift is over at midnight, they will handle 875,000 pounds of freight and load 52 trailers. At 8 p.m., the Bloomington trailer containing the 8 mowers is backed into a Mountain States door at the Peru dock. The freight is stripped back to the header and reloaded with 16 shipments. 4 of these were picked up by the Bloomington terminal, 4 by Aurora, 2 by Decatur and Rockford, and 1 each by Springfield, Rock Island, Dubuque, and Waukegan. By 2 a.m., the trailer is cubed out at 19,900 pounds.
Glenn Mudge. Could you find me a 10-704? Hooker to a lead. 17
20 minutes later, hostler Glenn Mudge pulls it from the dock and hooks it to a previously loaded trailer for Mountain States. The Bloomington freight was combined with freight from 12 other terminals to make a direct schedule to the Mountain States Consolidation Center 1,324 miles away. Reship costs at Peru have reduced our operating income by $277 and include all of the things that you might think of, like forklifts, hostling units, dock and office equipment, land, buildings, wages, communications, plus a few that you might not think of. At 2:50 a.m., transport operator Everett McFarland picked up his paperwork at dispatch and is on the road to the first relay point, Lincoln, Nebraska, a 436-mile trip. He arrives in Lincoln at 2:05 in the afternoon, and by 10 after 3, the schedule is back on the road for its 445-mile trip to its second relay point in Cheyenne, Wyoming. At 1:50 that night, it arrives at Cheyenne. It's refueled with 140 gallons of fuel and is back on the road for Salt Lake City by 3:10 a.m. The schedule arrives at our Mountain States Consolidation Center at 1:25 the next afternoon. 4 different transport operators have moved it. It's traveled 1,324 miles through 2 relay stations and 5 states in less than 35 hours. 260 gallons of fuel have been consumed and 2 tires have been replaced. CF buys over 50,000 tires and consumes over 80 million gallons of fuel every year.
In total, line haul expenses account for about 40% of the cost of moving freight through our system. In the case of this schedule, the cost was $1,830, more than $1 a mile, bringing our operating income for this schedule down to $1,764.
During the night, the contents of our schedule will be unloaded and the freight will be on its way to local terminals in Salt Lake City and Provo, Utah, Pocatello and Boise, Idaho, Missoula, Montana, Rock Springs, Wyoming, and Reno, Nevada. The cost of handling this freight at the Mountain States Consolidation Center brings our operating income down another $277 to $1,487. By 8 a.m., the freight in Provo is being loaded for city delivery. Copies of the bills of lading, which have traveled with the freight, are checked and other paperwork is completed. At 11:40, Provo driver salesman George Maw delivers the 6,264-pound shipment of mowers to its consignee. Destination terminal costs have amounted to $785, leaving $702 remaining.
In total, 68 different CF employees have directly handled the contents of this schedule. Now, in this case, every employee has done their job quickly, efficiently, and safely, as most employees do every day. Now, of the $4,656 in revenue that the schedule represented its origin, we have, let's see here, about $702 remaining. Out of this, we have to pay additional customer discounts. Oh, yeah, we have to pay, let's see, administrative expenses to keep the whole system running. We have to pay taxes. And we have to provide a dividend to our stockholders who are entitled to a fair return on their investment. That leaves us with, let's see, $96 to pay for all of those things that we talked about earlier, like the expansion of facilities, buying new equipment, developing new technology. Like I said earlier, $1,600,000,000 is, well, it's more money than I can comprehend. But $96? That's easy, because that's how much I spent on groceries last week. You know, we're all professionals. And part of being professionals is making our job look easy to our customers. But we know how hard we've worked for that $96, right? Damn hard.